Cholo.
He's dead.
Now look sad and say Joe.
I don't care.
How dare you!
Shut up!
Hello, Sandman.
Welcome back, weary travelers. Can you believe there are 6 more episodes after this one?
Shit.
This isn't crawling through a river of shit. It's crawling through an endless one. Just when you think it's going to end, there's more shit to crawl through.
Shit.
But enough procrastinating. Let's get this over with. Episode 5, The Song of Orpheus. Now we are still in the Brief Life story arc, but I need to tell this backstory in order to complete this, thus abridging and condensing the story arc even further. But really at this point, I don't care. So we begin this episode back in the dreaming, and Morpheus asks the insolent Lucian how were things during his absence. As nothing of note has happened, all is well. But then she inquires about his quest to find his brother. Morpheus believes there may be others involved in his quest and tells the insolent Lucian to investigate the matter. Then the insolent Lucian states that she liked and respected his brother, and that she believes it would be a good thing for him to speak to him.
I don't care.
And look at this scene. What does it remind you of? It's not just obvious, but shamelessly obvious that Lucian is a psychiatrist and Morpheus is her patient.
Fucking hell.
Now, I have reviewed Season 1 in its entirety, as well as the 4 previous episodes in this season. And of course, I have highlighted these instances many times. And as many times as I have, it still pisses me off to no end each time these shameless woke instances happen.
It's a complete crap.
To have your titular character change from an alpha male who ruled with sharp decisiveness to an adolescent fucking simp is fucking 100% unacceptable.
This is shit, but hey.
So then patient Morpheus spews his guts about destruction to the insolent Lucian, and we get a flashback scene. They visit a medical school and see that mortals are doing biological research on primates. Showing Morpheus that humans are delving into the sciences, they will eventually discover how to split the atom and be able to destroy the world. Then Morpheus says to the insolent Lucian, if he loved humanity, then why did he abandon them? And then the insolent Lucian says this.
To avoid being the one responsible for their destruction.
She finishes by saying, there is shame if the deed destroys the ones he loved. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Is any of this source material? Again, Morpheus is an endless. The insolent Lucian is just a creation to tend the dreaming library. Do you think someone who has lived for eons needs to consult the wisdom of some subordinate that has existed in contrast for mere seconds?
No.
So obviously, this psychiatry session is all bullshit. In regards to the flashback scene, this is from the source material, but it's done so direct and in your face, there's no nuance to the scene. But here, just to get the point across of how destruction feels.
This is shit, but hey.
In the source material, we get the ambiance of the era, and we get the contrast of Morpheus and destruction with Morpheus telling the thief what will happen after he pickpockets him. There's no way Netflix Sandman would include this scene, as it shows off way too much alpha male in Morpheus, and that would be 100% unacceptable to this show.
That's fucked up.
The conversation they have is relatively the same, but the point is much more subtle and engaging, and we get to see the Corinthian again because who doesn't like the Corinthian? So after all of the new counseling the insolent Lucian gives the Lord Shaper, he says he must return to the waking world. Why? Who the fuck knows? Then he visits the burnt strip club again, and apparently the fire department hasn't removed the dead tranny yet for some reason.
That's so fucking funny.
Next we see Morpheus visiting the tranny's funeral. Let me state it again so I'm 100% clear. Ruby, or in this iteration, Wanda, wasn't a tranny. The next scene that I'm going to highlight is the most egregiously unacceptable change in the entire show. This is worse than Black Death, Black Destiny, Fucking Simp Morpheus, even Black Bitch Lucian.
Get the fuck out of here.
And of course, it has absolutely nothing to do with the source material.
What else is new?
At Wanda's gravesite, we see a bunch of mourners. Looking at the mourners, what is it that you notice? Black people? Obvious DEI hired extras, but what else is new? I've already told you that many times, but that's not what I'm alluding to. What was Wanda?
Cholo.
That's right, he was Hispanic. Where's all the Hispanic people?
What the hell?
The only one is this ugly looking abuela.
Fucking hell.
And as Morpheus watches from afar, the abuela walks right up to her as if she recognizes him as the tranny's acquaintance. Obvious poor and lazy writing, but whatever. She tells him that the morticians did a good job with him at making him look like what he was. And Morpheus asks, why would they do that? Such a bullshit leading question with the utter shameless lecturing from the hideous puta. I'm not trying to paraphrase anything, so just listen to what she says.
They believe this was God's judgment on Alvin for who he was.
This is 100% raw projected bullshit in order to advance a false bullshit narrative sympathetically. Seriously, fuck this show. The gall to represent churchgoers as inconsiderate and unwelcoming is such bullshit. They all believe it was God's will that killed him because he was a tranny? In reality, nobody would care outside of his immediate family. There's no Spanish Inquisition for him ordering him to not be a tranny. And did you notice there wasn't a single Muslim in attendance? Why? Because Muslims wouldn't accept his lifestyle. And in fact, their religion would try to rid that lifestyle permanently. But this show doesn't reflect reality, but rather projects a false woke narrative.
This is shit, but hey.
Remember, it was Ishtar that killed everybody in the strip club. Even in this iteration, she decided the dance that put everybody watching in a hypnotic state. She's the one that lit the candle for no reason whatsoever. I mean, who the hell lights a candle in a room, then leaves? But I digress.
Fucking hell, look at that.
Then after the funeral service, Morpheus stands in front of the headstone, and then Black Death joins him to offer her 2 cents.
Shit.
She flat out says, it's not right to have the tranny's real name on the headstone. Who the fuck is she to determine what should be on the headstone? And of course, if you cared so much, then maybe she should have done something about it, yes? As she is supposed to be death, she doesn't care about good or evil, spiritual or not. Her offering her opinion on a mortal's life is so out of character. This show is so fucking wrong, while at the same time, it simply doesn't care about the source material at all. Fuck this show. But let me soldier on. Black Death tells Morpheus that Delirium's sigil has gone dark, and that she's closed off her realm. Morpheus says, so what? Then Black Death pins it on Morpheus that it's his fault, and that he was using her. As if Morpheus needed Delirium to look for nada in the waking world. How can anybody watch this shit and take everything that is spewed at face value? This show non-stop gaslights its audience. It's truly unbelievable.
This is shit, but hey.
So Black Death tells Morpheus to go talk to Delirium and opens a doorway into her realm. After he walks in, we see Black Death meet up with the dead tranny. Why? She doesn't hang out with dead souls after they're collected, and he would have been collected days ago.
What the fuck is this?
But this fucking show has to highlight the defiant tranny and the life choices he made. Again, let me state this to be clear. Nobody cares about the tranny. Being that the T in the Alphabet People Mafia is so political these days isn't because normal people don't like them or their chosen lifestyle. On the contrary, if they stayed in their lane, nobody would care, like this tranny. Want to wear woman's clothing? Go ahead. Want to act like a woman? Go ahead. Now, just use the correct restrooms and stop grooming minors and stop encroaching into women's sports, then everybody, using Neil's parlance, couldn't give 2 fucks what you do in life. Okay, rant over. Let's soldier on through this shitty show, shall we? Morpheus, now in the realm of delirium, is walking through a subway train. Now, just to be clear, this isn't some manifestation of thoughts or ideas. This is supposed to be the physical realm of delirium. What is delirium? Well, if you look up the word, it says a state of acute mental confusion that causes significant disturbances in a person's attention, awareness, thinking, and behavior. Most likely, everybody has experienced a state of delirium one time or another. Probably the most common is when you've had a fever, and when trying to sleep, you have extremely vivid dreams that are wackier than a Salvador Dali painting. Now, do you see anything that makes you feel delirious or represents the sense of delirium?
No.
So Morpheus makes it to the next car, and now look at what we get. A bunch of BDSM weirdos.
What the fuck is this?
Is this supposed to be a representation of delirium? Obviously not, but rather just another insertion to pander to the vices of these deviant creators.
Who are these sick people?
Then we see Nada kissing another girl, for no reason at all. Now, the details of all of this is completely pointless. So in subway train cars as a manifestation of the realm of delirium is pretty damn poor and lazy. But then again, what else is new?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So finally Morpheus exits the subway and finds Delirium sitting next to a sundial. She wallows in self-pity and tells Morpheus that she hates him. Then Morpheus says that she should, and because he deserves it. Once again, what the fuck did Morpheus do wrong? If you remember from the last episode, jack and shit, fucking all. Assuming for a moment that their quest in looking for their brother is indeed the cause of all the people dying, who is the one that prevented more deaths from happening? That's right, Morpheus. And who wanted to continue looking for their brother? That's right, Delirium. Meaning, if their journey caused these people to die, then Delirium couldn't give two fucks about their lives. And yet, it's Morpheus' fault.
Shit, this is some fucked up, repugnant shit.
So even though Morpheus didn't do anything wrong, he apologizes to Delirium. And as bad as season 1 was, with the fucking annoying girl boss Rose Walker and the little bratty fuck Jed, this season, some way, somehow, manages to be even more fucked up.
Fucking hell.
They quickly make up, and we get a pointless interlude with destruction. Then Morpheus and Delirium go to visit Black Brother Destiny.
Shit, Negro. That's all you had to say.
After a bunch of fluff banter, Black Destiny tells Morpheus that only an oracle could tell him the whereabouts of destruction is. Morpheus says there aren't any more oracles, but Black Destiny tells him there is one that Morpheus forgot about, his son Orpheus. We get this transition, and we begin the Song of Orpheus part of the episode. For those that want to follow along in the comic, you can find it in the Sandman special, Song of Orpheus. Now, before we begin this section, let me state that this is an abridged retelling of the story of Orpheus and Eurydice from Greek mythology. In the comic, it's pretty much spot on with the Greek myth. The only thing Neil did was insert the endless with Morpheus being Orpheus' father. That's it. If you already know the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, then you only need to know the very, very end to see how it ties into the Brief Life story arc. So let's begin. We start with Orpheus waking up on a beach by Morpheus and Calliope. They are there because today's Orpheus' wedding day. Why he's sleeping on the beach on his wedding day? Who knows? But then again, what else is new? The writing sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, they all go to a garden and you see the entire Endless has showed up to the wedding.
Fucking hell, look at that.
Each gives their supposed blessings to the bride and groom. The two are wedded, and the reception goes in through to the night. As the newlyweds break away from the party, Eurydice is bitten by a snake and dies. Grief-stricken, Orpheus cannot come to terms at Eurydice's death and refuses to attend her funeral. He pleads to Morpheus to bring her back, but he can't and refuses to aid him in any way. Standing on the cliff, Orpheus is about to throw himself into the sea, when Uncle Destruction shows up trying to talk some sense into him. Orpheus asks to see Auntie Black Death, and Destruction leads him to her. Now in Black Death's home, he sees everything as modern compared to ancient Greece. She asks her to show him the way to the underworld. She tells him that she could, and he could even return, but he could no longer die. Orpheus makes his decision and opens the door with a stairwell leading downward. She tells him this will lead him to the underworld. So Orpheus descends into the underworld and runs into the three fates. They spat a bunch of esoteric warnings and what they represent, while the show tries to trigger an epileptic seizure in the audience.
What the fuck is going on there?
Then Hades speaks, and Persephone asks if he had a song for them. Orpheus sings, and Hades tells him to stop, as the song is disrupting his realm. Orpheus asks to give him his wife, and he will leave, and Hades responds, "Why should I?" Orpheus says, out of love, and he'll prove to them that his love for Eurydice is more than death itself. So Hades says, fine, she can go with you, but as he leaves, he cannot look back until he's exited the underworld. Orpheus agrees and begins the long ascension out of the underworld. As he approaches the exit, he turns around and sees Eurydice behind him, then is suddenly pulled back into the underworld. After a day or so has passed, Orpheus explains what happened to Calliope, and she tells him that Morpheus should have gone in his stead, and informs him that she's left him. She says it wasn't specifically because of Orpheus, as their relationship was already rocky. So Orpheus bids farewell to his mother, and she says she came for another reason. The sisters of the frenzy are coming, and she came to warn him to leave. But Orpheus is here because of them, since he can no longer die, and all he wants to be is reunited with Eurydice. So Calliope leaves with Orpheus, not heeding her warning. When the sisters of the frenzy show up, Orpheus is torn apart with his head falling into the river and washing ashore. Morpheus comes to him and tells him some fishermen will find him and tend to him. Orpheus pleads to his father to kill him, but Morpheus throws his words back at him and tells him that he will be the last time they will see each other, and he leaves. Now we come back to the present, and Delirium asks Black Brother Destiny what's the matter with Morpheus. Then Black Destiny basically tells her to mind her own business. Then Delirium tells Black Destiny that there are things that are not written in his book. After some consolation from Delirium, if you can call it that, they decide to leave. But Black Destiny gives a final warning that those that seek destruction usually find it.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
As they leave, Delirium asks where they're going, and he says to see his son, who will ask for him to kill him. And that ends episode 5. Can you believe it's only been 5 episodes so far? So really fast, let's summarize this episode. Morpheus returns back from the waking world and gets advice from the insolent and wiser Lucian. He attends a funeral of a dead tranny where his abuela tells him she accepted him for what he was. Then Black Death says it's wrong to have his real name on his tombstone, and Morpheus changes it to his tranny name. Then Black Death tells him to make amends with Delirium, and Morpheus goes into her realm to speak to her. After a bunch of pointless train cars that have no representation of the state of Delirium whatsoever, he finds her and apologizes. Then they continue their journey and visit Black Brother Destiny, who tells him of the last existing oracle. Then we're told the tale of Orpheus, and Morpheus says they're going to ask where destruction is. And that is the episode in a nutshell. So how accurate is it? Of course, the entire first half is pretty much bullshit. There's no doctor-patient session between Lucian and Morpheus. There's no tranny funeral. The only thing that is relevant is Death telling Morpheus that Delirium closed her realm and that he needs to make it right, and they continue their journey. Then there's the Tale of Orpheus segment. It is, for the most part, accurate. Is it any good? Not really. It's slow, boring, and uninteresting. I've spoken enough about the first half of the episode, so let me just focus on the second half. There's no character in the characters, and yet the source material is right in front of them, and they fail to use it. For example, at Orpheus's wedding, everybody is dancing and having a gay old time, but Morpheus just sits there. Instead of Calliope asking him happily to come and dance, as in the source material, they have Black Death ask him that. Again, it's a small change that still gets the point across, right? Yet, it's little nuances like this that show why Calliope decided to leave him. This shows she tried to actively get him to change his ways and do it on a festive and happy occasion. If she can't change him even when the mood is ripe for dancing, then anything she does would just be a futile attempt. This shows character, and there's no budgetary reason to not show it this way, and yet they didn't, because the writing and directing sucks.
God damn it!
Then there's the entire underworld sequence. Again, it's the volume set, so everything looks extremely small outside of this one CGI shot. Do we see the millions of dead souls? I guess those little blue lights in the background is what we get.
Fucking hell.
It's so cheap and feels so small. Zero attention to detail.
This is shit, but hey.
Then there's the acting. The guy who plays Orpheus doesn't look very heartbroken. They don't give him the haggard appearance from the toll of his demise. And let me say, the look and the age they chose for Orpheus really shows just how bad a pick Tom Sturridge is as Morpheus. He doesn't look like he could be Orpheus' father for a second. Had they chose someone younger looking for Orpheus, then maybe. But them two, there isn't a shred of believability. So let's give this episode a grade. Without the source material, it gets a 3. The entire first half is clearly a forced narrative being shoved down our throats, and then the pathetic train cars, which were supposed to be a representation of delirium, not only fails to meet the definition, but is just a continuation of the forced narrative. Although the Tale of Orpheus is for the most part accurate, it is so bland and boring. The acting is shit and the visuals are weak. There is nothing interesting to see. Having read the source material, I'll give it a 2, simply for being somewhat faithful to the Tale of Orpheus. Again, these episodes are so hard to watch because story-wise, nothing very much happens. The Sandman is a story mostly about character, but this show has sacrificed character in favor of a woke narrative, which makes each episode such an unbearable chore to watch. But a deal's a deal, and I'll finish reviewing this piece of shit. And that'll do it for this video. What is it? 6 or 7 more episodes to review?
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
To the few that are sticking it out with me, you have my deepest gratitude. And with that, thank you for watching, and until next time.
Uh-oh. My eyes, the goggles do nothing.